Hello everyone, and welcome to Ancestral Archetypes version 1.3.0. There's a lot of changes in this version, so we're going to get right into them. There's 7 new archetypes, 1 removed archetype, and a lot of changes to existing archetypes. So I'm going to start going through the changes first, and then we'll get to the new stuff. So first up, let me disable those. So first up, we have no changes to Aquarian. We have a undocumented change to the Centaurs. So there was previously a bug where you would take more fall damage than you're supposed to, particularly with a donkey. So when you're on your donkey and you fell from like 10 blocks or so, the donkey would not take fall damage, or it would take like half a heart of fall damage, but you take half your health of fall damage. So that has been fixed, and now you will take a similar amount of fall damage to your mount. See, next up, we have a change to the Copper Golem, and that is, well, there's 2 changes. We have merged the increased knockback attribute with some other attributes here and called it lightweight. So now you get knocked further, but you also walk gracefully over crops, magma blocks don't damage you, and Skulk does not detect your vibrations. Additionally, you now have the Resilient Joints buff, which means you can fall safely from further heights. I believe this is defaulted to 10 blocks of extra height. And so that is the new buff to Copper Golem. And this will apply to all of the other 1 block tall creatures that we'll be getting to. Aside from Slime, because that's not always 1 block tall. So we have one more change to Blaze, and that is we have added Blazing Strike. That is called, well, it basically means you have fire aspect on your hits. So if you were to punch something, it would set you on fire for a little bit more than what fire aspect 1 would do. And obviously it would, apply to a sword as well. So you can have, hit something with a sword and it would get cooked, and you get cooked meat out of that. Let's see. Additionally, there have been no further changes to Witcher Slime. And we can slide over to the next section here, to the windsweeps, so we have kind of this sliding menu now. There has been a big change to Parrot. So additionally, on top of having lightweight, which we just discussed, the Wing Glider will now allow you to give yourself a boost when you're sneaking. So we're going to show this off by equipping the Wing Glider. And to take off, we're going to jump, and now we can sneak, and it'll give us a little boost. This does not take additional energy or decrease your flight time, and you can spam it as much as you want. And it's just like having a rocket active, except it's a little bit better. So if I open my debug menu, activating a rocket when you're over 33 meters per second will cap you at that speed. Well, this one will not cap your speed, so you can use gravity to assist while you are spamming your little rocket away. And as you saw, it puts out little particles, and those will match your wing color. And additionally, it'll make those little poof rocket sounds. Those are visual. The boost is completely linear as you're traveling, so that's just a little nice visual effect. And those are it for all of the archetype changes. We're going to get into the new ones now. We're going to start with the new Centaur, which is the Camel. And as you can imagine, the Camel's pretty simple. It just is a Centaur with a camel. Here's a little camel guy. Isn't he cute? We can hop out and give this guy a check. He has the normal health, but he has much better stats as far as speed and jump than a normal camel. So he can move pretty quickly. We have the sprinting that a camel can do, so this is the sprint speed. And then the normal mosey speed. And then the jump, you can lunge very far. Additionally, you have the extra seat. So we're going to pick up our friend here. Friend's going to hop on, and we can take friend wherever we want to go. However, being this Centaur Archetype mount, if we get off, they will get booted off, and they cannot mount on their own. So if he comes back over here and tries to get on, he is not going to be able to do so. And we can desummon the mount, and resummon the mount. Now, get on the mount. If we were to unsummon it, they would get booted off as well. And so, that is the new camel mount. And as you saw with the activating and deactivating, one of the changes that have been made is a visual change to how the cooldowns work. Because previously there was a bug where if you went through a dimension or logged out and logged in and your thing was still on cooldown, it would appear to be off cooldown, but it would still like actually be cooling down. And so now we just have the status bar cooldown bar, which will update with a little icon and color of your archetype and whatever ability you're using. And it will just permanently lock the slot, so it'll have the cooldown bar just full if it is cooling down, and it'll be not present if it isn't cooling down. And so, going on to the next new archetype, we're going to go to Strider, which replaced the Magma Cube. And so, being an Infernal, it has the damage by cold and fire immune, just like the other Infernals. However, you also have the Warped Fungus speed boost. So we can eat one of our Warped Fungus here, and put that on our hotbar to get a speed boost. Additionally, the main feature of the Strider is it's a lava walker. So you can float on, you're kind of buoyant on lava, unless you're sneaking, in which case you can sink. But you also stride through lava pretty quickly. And we have the new feature called Rideable, which is now on 3 different archetypes, which we'll be getting to. And that means other players can ride you. So we are going to become a Strider, and we can see that we have the additional, like, special food consumption rate with all of the config values that are fully adjustable. We're going to go over to our friend here. Now, friend is on the blue team, and I am not on the blue team. And so there's a config setting, which means that if we are on different teams, I cannot be ridden. So he's going to come up and he's going to try his best, and he can't get on. But if we were to change our team by just leaving their team, that should be team leave. If I leave my team, so now I don't have a team, which means I can be mounted. Or if we were on the same team, if I joined the test team, then we were on the same team, and that would have been fine. So you can, we're taking friend around here. But if we happen to not want friend on us anymore, we can sneak, and that'll dismount them. Or they can get off of their own volition. The exception is we cannot forcefully dismount someone while we are flying. That will be relevant to when we get to the Ghastling. And let's go test out our Lava Stride ability. You can see we are definitely fire resistant, and once we get into the deep part of the lava, you can see that we are buoyant. We can sneak, and we go down, and then unsneak, and we just kind of bob right back up. And now we can take a stroll through here. Hello, Strider friends. We're just like you. We're gonna eat a golden carrot here. And we can also eat our fungus, and now we are really going around. Look at us go. Let's head on back now. There goes our boost lead, another one. We can get out just like that. And that is the Strider. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Hopefully people have some fun shuttling their non-flame resistant friends across lava lakes in the nether. So let's go into the Cave Spider. The Cave Spider is the new 1 block tall archetype. So like the other 1 block tall archetypes, it has the half size trait, the soft hitter trait for reduced damage, the resilient joints new trait that gives you some fall resistance, the lightweight trait, also new, that we just went over with Copper Golem, and like the Swampers, it has the Moonlit trait, so that will empower some of its other buffs, the Anti-Venom trait, so it is immune to poison, and then what's special to the Cave Spider is it can climb walls while sneaking, just like if there are ladders. It can inflict poison on your enemies, just like how the Wither Skeleton can inflict Wither. This poison is increased in both duration and amplitude by the moon phase. And then it has weaving permanently, the potion effect that lets you move through cobwebs with only a 45% speed reduction, as well as getting this new little web spinner, which means you can launch a cobweb a short distance. You kind of lob it out there, and it regenerates pretty quickly, so you can be pretty liberal with it. You can, you know, jump and kind of aim higher to try and get it to go further, but it's not going to go that far. And you can also go and hide in it and kind of move through it at half speed instead of the, like, 5% speed that people normally go through cobwebs. I believe you cannot jump in them still. Yeah, so you can't really jump, but that's okay. You're tiny anyways, you can kind of fully hide in it. And as you can see, we have regeneration right now. And that is because of the moon. So right now, let me switch this to nighttime. We can see it's a full moon. And because we are a spider, and just like on hard mode, we get a random potion effect, except it's not really random. So on full moons, you always get regeneration. And if we were to add 1 day, so now we have a gibbous. It doesn't matter if it is a waning gibbous or a waxing gibbous, we'll have strength 1. We do it again to a half moon, we will get a speed boost, and you can see our strength will fade, so you only get 1 at a time. And then for the crescent and new moon, you get nothing. So it's just a nice little extra boost that you happen to have all the time. Oh, and here come the zombies. Unfortunately, zombies are undead, so they are immune to our poison strikes. Same with spiders. Not the greatest, but they'll work on other mobs, like if a creeper happened to show up. Let's turn it back to daytime. We can web that guy so he doesn't get any closer. I missed. There you go. You're not getting closer until you get out of the web, and then you're getting closer. And let me just web you again. Oh, isn't that so miserable? And let's show off the little climb. So we're gonna sneak and we just go right up, and we can jump off and not take any fall damage to injure our poor fragile 5 hearts that we have there. And that is the cave spider. So next up, we're gonna go over to the new windswept. This is the Ghastling. And I'm actually gonna hop into this water here, because the Ghastling has, where is it? The dry out feature. So because Ghastlings, you have to rehydrate them, and they get very upset if you set them on fire and things like that. Ooh, we're drowning. Let's not do that. Let's just chill right here in the water for a little bit. There we go. Fire res. We'll give that for a little bit. We'll come back. So let's heal up and actually read our abilities. So, the main feature of the Ghastling is the slow hover ability. That's this little aviation helmet that you get. You can equip it, put it on, and take off. It is not like full creative flight because it is slowed down a little bit, but you can, use the same controls as normal creative flight. Additionally, we get the Snow Blast right here. You can launch a chilling blast that freezes our foes. Additionally, the Ghastling is also rideable. Only by 1 player, though, because you're a baby happy gas. You can't fit the full 4, which is why we are normal size. And then it also has the normal slow faller ability that the rest of the windsweeps have. So, let's go use our Snow Blast on some of the creatures right here. Hello, chicken. Boop. And it is a little snowball that goes out and has a wide range of effect, and it will apply freezing damage, configured to be 2 hearts by default. And it also slows them down pretty significantly. So we can head over to the river, because it also does one more thing. And as we wait for it to recharge, we're going to kill some of those salmon. And also, freeze the whole lake. Oop, we damaged ourselves there a little bit with that. It is a wide-ranging ability. And we can see we frosted over this whole section of water. And that's going to have to thaw out. So that is a cool little ability. And there goes my fire res. We'll add that for another 5 minutes. So let's put on our aviation helmet. Now we can put it on and we take off. And it has these nice little goggles there. We fly around. So you get these little particle effects coming out. And you get a pretty long duration of this hovering. See, it's barely gone down a little bit. And we can get out of it, and the goggles get put up onto our head. They go right up on there. And it comes with the added bonus of, we can now do the archetypes set helmet color, just like a wing glider. And so we can set our color. I'm a fan of blue, so I'm going to set it to, let's do, like, that type of blue there. There we go. That's pretty. But now we also have trims available, and we'll go back to the glider in a minute, because we can do this for gliders as well. So we're going to throw on a nice little diamond trim. And look at that. That's some nice little accents going on there. And if we take off, we can see the nice little spiral effect. There, it's like a little wind vortex. And we can get our friend on. We can go for a ride. Boop. Now we take off. And so I can sneak, and they're not getting dropped. But if they sneak, they will plummet. So let's make sure that our friend is, in creative mode or has some type of fall stuff, just to be super sure. But you can't just have people get on you and then you go drop them over the ocean or whatever. And also, you do not have to be flying, obviously, to get ridden as a happy guest. All right, so we are going to change our archetype once again. And that is all of the new additions to the existing classes. We're going to get into the meat of the video, the Enderians here. So, the Enderians, they hate water. They also have a lot going on. We're going to start with the Enderman here. The Enderman's a shy guy. You look at Enderman, they don't move. So, just like that, if someone is looking directly at you and you can notice that they're looking directly at you, you get stunned, just like the horse stun, except it just reapplies over and over again, so you can't move. However, you can still, look away, so if you look away, you'll get broken and you can run off. You're also 2.5 blocks tall. Not the full, 2.8 that an Enderman is, because you don't want you to get too wide since you can't adjust, proportions. You do get some extra long arms to help you out with that height. You also get a nice little buff of Silk Touched, so blocks that you mine with your hands have Silk Touch applied to them, kind of. So you still need a proper tool to pick up stuff like stone, and it won't apply unless you're doing your raw hand, so it'll only work on things like grass. So we'll show that off in a second. You also get the Enderman's long teleport ability, so you can teleport in a straight line, and it's a very intelligent teleport algorithm, so I will show off how that works. You're also projectile resistant, not fully immune, because that would be a bit strong, just like the breeze, so you get reduced damage. And all of the Enderians hate water. So here we are. Nice little Enderman running around. I'm going to show off the shy first, so we're kind of looking in the vague general direction, but if our friend looks right at us, ooh, we're panicking, we can't move. But if we look away, we can. But, if we just get right in the vision cone there. Yeah, so if I am, here, I'm noticing that they're looking at me, and on their screen, I'm, right here. You have to be dead accurate. So it's not that much of a debuff, it's just more of a flavor thing. Let's go over and experience the pain of water. It's like lava, basically. You're sitting here, there goes 2 hearts, another 2 hearts, another 2 hearts, oof. And it's drowning damage as well, so it will not be reduced as much by armor. You need something like an enchantment to reduce that type of damage. And here's our little teleport ability. It's called Blink. And you can see we have a little icon of where exactly we're going to blink to. So it will snap you to the ground. So I can look far away, and it will go over there. But I can look closer, and it will come here. And it will do its best to put you in a safe spot. We can also go underground with it, so it does not, need line of sight. So I can teleport to the other side of this hill. Boop. And there I go. It's a moderate cooldown. You can see it's recharging pretty quickly. It's pretty handy. Now that I've made my way over to a biome where it rains, I'm going to weather rain. And you can see you take a lot less damage when it's raining out, but it still hurts. It's not pleasant. And it will chip through my saturation from these golden carrots real quick. So we're going to clear that up. We can hide under some trees to help with that. And so if you happen to know where a cave is with your blank, you can go to it. So let's see if there's any caves around here. There's one over there. So if we make our way over such that we would go into said cave with our blink, let's see where we need to look. Out down there. We're going to wait for the blink indicator to no longer show at the surface. Boop. Into the cave we go. And if we set my cooldowns, So you can see that we're going to be teleporting down here. And now I look up. Boop. And if you try and go somewhere where it's like completely invalid and there's like no valid location for where you're looking, it will like not take the cooldown and not do anything. Let's also silk touch some stuff. So it won't work on things like grass because those are like shear dependent, but it will work on the actual grass blocks. That is pretty nice little flavor thing. And just to make sure I'm not missing anything with our dear Enderman, we do have the extra range. And I don't need to show off projectile resistance. This is just normal projectile resistance, just like the other archetypes that have it. So now we're going on to the Shulker. The Shulker has the water ability, and then 4 active abilities. So we're going to get 4 items here, loaded into our hotbar. So we get a Soulbound Backpack. It's basically like a worse version of the Donkey storage, because it is only 18 slots here. But it's like a backpack item, and you can't put any archetype abilities in it. But we can put other items in there, and we can also take them out bundle style. That's pretty nice. You know, load them in, take them out. Very handy to have, and it will tell you exactly what's in it in their little content thing. And it's completely individualized, just like an ender chest. So if I happen to have like this in a chest somewhere, and another Shulker came along, we could both use this as a bundle to like take stuff in and put stuff out. That's not the right order of those words. And it would be completely individualized. Next up, we have the Evasive Warp, which is the teleport for the Shulker. And it's basically like a extended range chorus fruit that you don't have to like eat. So it's instant, and it will just get you out of a bad situation. It's a lot less useful than the Enderman's teleport, but it's good to have. Next up, we have Fortify. So this is a shield, basically. We pop this, we cannot move anymore, and it will give us heavy damage resistance, configured to 85%. And it will consume up energy, so it is time-based and not damage-absorbed-based. So you definitely have to time it, and it does have a short cooldown that you have to wait for it to come back, and the energy recharges over time. Next up, we have the Seeker Bullet Barrage. So, you can see we have a little targeting reticle now, so we can highlight a creature when it's far away, and if there's no creature highlighted, it won't let us use the ability. Let's go kill that sheep. We send out 3 little, very smart Shulker bullets. These are not normal Shulker bullets. They move very fast when they're far away, and kind of slow down as they approach. And they also don't just hit blocks randomly until the thing dies. So once something dies, they'll kind of like go down and self-destruct. And when they do self-destruct, they will still apply like a little AoE burst of levitation and apply their normal damage. All the damage is configurable, as well as, let's see, what is configurable with this? Archetypes, config, levitation bullets. So we have the cooldown, the number of bullets it generates, the damage the bullets do on impact. We do have the levitation duration and the levitation level of the effect. So we do have everything that we can. And as you can see, it does like override the player's team briefly while you're looking at them. It's visual only to your client, so it can apply the purple glow. And you do need line of sight as well, so that kind of blocks it. We can send those over. Our friend is in creative mode, so they're not going to take too much damage. But they'll try their best to collide and do their fancy tricky tracking shenanigans. And the range is basically, as far as you can see, is limited to the server's render distance. So if you can see the creature, you can likely lock onto it. And there go our funny bullets. Boop. And the thing gets obliterated. You can even do some long range drone strikes. And the cooldown is currently in debug mode for this right now. It is going to be a decently long cooldown. I don't think I can reset it to defaults with just a command. It would just have to be stripped out. And obviously, even though Shulkers don't take water damage, you as a Shulker, you do take water damage, so avoid that. Hi, Boris from the future here. I'm just here to say that we have added an additional feature to the hurt by water trait such that you can negate it entirely with a water breathing potion. We're going to demonstrate that right now. We're taking damage, and now we're not. Alright, back to the video. So, hello husks, I'm fortified. And they will just do their best to hurt me, and do pretty poorly. Until I run out of shield, and that will break, and then it's very sad. But I can still send him packing, or at least one of them at a time. And he's gonna have fun getting down. Oh, he's trying to save himself. Smart little guy. I'm sending it back up again. Here he goes. And the bullets can be destroyed like normal, so shields block it, you can punch him out of the air, things like that. And that's the Shulker. Let's go on to our last new archetype. Best for last is the Ender Dragon. This was voted on a poll of whether I added the Ender Dragon or the Endermite. People wanted the dragon. I can see why. Dragon's huge. Dragon's 3.5 blocks tall. You get a lot of the big archetype benefits. You get the reduced knockback. You get the long arms. You get the extra health. You still have the hurt by water. You're rideable as a dragon. This is the third and final rideable archetype. And you have your two special abilities, Ender Flame and the End Glider. So this is basically like the old Parrot Glider that you get now. Let's go into our inventory and get these out. So here are our dragon wings. They look like that. They act like the old Parrot Glider, so they're just normal elytra with a kind of energy bar. You cannot boost with the End Dragon Wings. So, I'll wait for these to reactivate, and there we go. And we can set the color of them. So, archetypes, set glider color. And we're going to make them red this time. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do like that, and we'll throw in a little bit of that. There we go. There's a pink glider. And we can throw a trim on it as well. What would go good with this? There we go. We're pink and purple today. And that will apply the trim color to the actual, like, membrane part of the wings. So that's pretty cool. And so our final ability, the End Flame Buffet. I don't actually know how to pronounce this word. It will send out a torrent of End Flame when you right-click in a giant cone. And just like the Blaze Volley, the longer you channel it, the longer its cooldown is going to be, up to its maximum duration. But it also shares a cooldown with its alternate ability, which is the Sneak Right Click. So we're going to wait for this to recharge its energy. And the End Flame does magic damage, just like normal End Flame does. So it is armor piercing to some degree. And it also is a decent amount of damage as well, fully configurable. So now that we're recharged, we can do a sneak, right-click, and it launches out a fireball. That puts the little puddle on the ground. And the puddle hurts, because it's End Flame. Don't want to get caught in the puddle. And with the current cooldown is the full duration cooldown that gets applied from launching the fireball is just enough to always have one of these puddles active, assuming that no one scoops it up with the bottles. And so, that is the Ender Dragon. Let me get some rockets and fly around with Friend on our back. I have Arcana installed, so let me grab an Everlasting Rocket instead. Alright, hop on. There's Friend, riding on our head. And there's Friend, jankily riding on our back. I don't know why the Mojang devs did not consider adjusting the model when you have someone riding and someone in a Elytra flight. That's how it would be. And we're going around. Woo! and we can get friend off of us. And they're so cute and tiny. They're so normal sized, and we're so giant. Fun to do dragon things. Let's melt some mobs real quick. And there they go. Takes about the full duration to fully melt something with 20 HP. And so, there is one final thing in this new Archetypes version, which was a suggestion from the GitHub page. Alright, yeah, so thank you to Sammy Et for the suggestion to make it so that archetypes get ignored by the hostile mob of their same type. So let's go ahead and archetypes, change archetype. We have witches in our inventory. We're going to witch. And we're spawning the witches. And they don't want to attack me. I can punch them. I can piss them off. They don't care. Except if we do the config value of... I forget what it is. Ignored by mob type. There we go. Let's set this to false. Oh, and now they're pissed. Oh boy. Don't attack me. They're gonna do it anyway. We're going back to true. Leave me alone. And now we're friends again. That's crazy. Alright, and so, that is it for Ancestral Archetypes version 1.3.0. There is also new infographics. I'm probably going to be shoving them up on screen right about now. I'm going to go through all of them. So we got the Aquarians. Ooh, look at that. We got the Felids. I don't think that's next. Is next, though. That's not alphabetical. We got the Centaurs. There they are. They're pretty cool. We got the new Enderians. They're fancy. They got so much stuff going on. It's crazy. We got the Infernals. They're a classic. Hopefully, Blaze is a bit more viable now. I also think Strider's a lot of fun. We got the Golems. Everybody loves the Golems. Tough Golems finally getting some love in my server. I have been a Tough Golem stan for so long, and they're so happy. What else? I'm missing something. Windswepts. They're guys too. Happy Ghast is adorable. I'm a big fan of Happy Ghast. And I think that's it. If I'm forgetting one, it's going up on screen now. But otherwise, there's the big one too. The big one's got all the constellations together. It's so pretty. And for the Parrot enjoyers, we're going to change archetype to Parrot one more time. Here's the trim pattern on the Parrot. Oop, there we go. I'm in the wrong spot. There we go. Whee! The trim pattern is pretty fun. So, I hope you all enjoy the new update. Feel free to post bugs. I'm sure there's bugs. Post suggestions. These guys are going to kill me. And I will be happy to see y'all in the next update. Bye-bye!